Jordan Coffee? A man stood in the doorway to Jordan Coffee's home, hat in hand. Jordan nodded and asked, "Can I help you?" "I dearly hope so." The man's face was etched in worry and sorrow. Deep lines cut fresh, angry tracks through his pained expression. Jordan invited him in and offered him coffee. He declined. "It's my daughter," the man explained. "It's been 2 days. Police have nothing, no leads. She might already be dead. I don't know." Asking the man to start at the beginning, Jordan gets a story. The man's name is Sam Benton. He's a laborer working whatever jobs he can get, raising a young girl alone as her mother left, lost to a world of drugs and who knew what else. Benton came home 2 days ago, as he always did after a job, present in hand for his daughter, as he'd just gotten paid. She wasn't there. This was beyond unusual. They lived in a rough side of town, and she knew better than to roam about, especially when it was getting dark. He went to the police immediately. They investigated but found nothing beyond a forced door. They interviewed neighbors who claimed to have seen nothing, heard nothing. Benton knows they're lying, too afraid to get involved, but they won't help. Without money, he was out of options until someone told him about a man named Jordan Coffee who lived a town over. A man they said could find anyone, anywhere. "I have no money," Benton says. "No way to pay you. By rights, you can shut the door in my face and go about your day, but I had to try. I had to at least ask." "Mr. Benton," Jordan responds, "keep your money. I'll find her, and I'll get her back to you. You have my word." Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to another Solo Play Sunday, the show where I grab some gamer or another, roll up a character, make some questionable choices, and even worse voice acting, and just hope to entertain you all. Today we're building on my video earlier in the week covering Marvel Superheroes Ultimate Powers book. I've rolled up a character using same, you can see him here, Jordan Coffee, aka the Huntsman. Of course, he's not generally known as that. Now, I had a bit of a conundrum when I first rolled him. The random form generator came up with normal human no less than 5 times in a row. Yes, I threw out the first roll, the second, and so on, and by the fifth one, I was like, okay, this is the will of the dice. Let's see where this goes. But of course, a normal human doesn't have powers, which would be a really stupid way to try and showcase the Ultimate Powers book and its uses. But then I had an epiphany. He's human. He's a high-tech wonder. All his powers are derived from gear. Then I rolled some powers, and the final one was magic. Now, I do magic a little differently here in the house. I don't just assign powers from the UPB. I actually bust out Realms of Magic by Kim Eastland and roll up some powers through that, which I will be covering next Tuesday. So tune in and check it out. And in addition, I'm going to have 2 episodes of Mr. Jordan Coffee doing such. This week is going to kind of hone in on his ultimate powers, and next week we're going to do a little magic. But yeah, getting back to the realms of magic, I was tickled when the random generator therein rolled up magic items, so I knew I was on the right track. Glancing over the powers and the magic stuff, I zoomed in on an idea of a huntsman, someone who has a mystical ability to track down people. That led to telelocation, one of the most criminally underrated powers of all time. Though I don't think it should cost 2 powers, but I digress. Then I chose stealth and some other stuff, and the magic powers came back as, they had choice between 2 of them, but I went with astral projection and vapors enhancement, and then I rolled up the items. Jordan was coming into view. See, until about a year or 2 ago, he was just an investigator with a passion for strange old objects, especially occult-related ones. Bit of a mystic investigator, if you want to think of him that way. Until he came across a couple items that have since changed his life forever. The first is a mystical amulet he wears around his neck. It's a tooth of some predator, but what that predator might be, he couldn't say. It gives him the ability to see through disguises and concealment. It lets his astral form slip free of his body and wander about. It shows him where to step to avoid being detected. And most importantly, it allows him to find anyone at a very impressive range. His second item is a bow that emits vapors that enhances physical prowess. With these two items, he's built himself the bare minimum of a heroic start. Rumor has gotten around about his abilities after catching a bond jumper here and a fugitive there, and thus he's now been approached by Sam Benton, a man whose young daughter was kidnapped right out of their apartment a couple days ago. Jordan knows where she is now, but he's not real sure why she's there or what's going on. Those abilities are handled under other powers like clairvoyance, clairaudience, so on and so forth. Telelocation only tells him where she is. So he loads up his Jeep with a little bit of gear he's acquired. He's got his body armor, he's got a revolver, knife, flashlight, cuffs, all that kind of basic normal stuff. And he's going to head out and he's going to find this Benton girl. Okay, we have our setup. It is a rural cabin. It is a shack out in the woods outside of town. Jordan has located the area through his telelocation. He's gotten close enough to where he can use his ambulance astral projection. He parks his Jeep well outside of range of where she is, assuming, she's with kidnappers and such. So he parks, he does his astral projection, he scouts out the area. It's kind of like, okay, we got three goons out here in the cabin, but this guy in particular raises some alarms with Jordan. See, one of the powers of the amulet is true sight. He sees through disguises and such. This guy is not human. This guy is very much some sort of extra dimensional entity, a demon, a devil, something like that. So Jordan is on high alert. He's kind of like, okay, like if he had anybody at all he could call into for help or alert the authorities or something, he would totally do it. But of course, you can't just call up the cops and say, "Hey, I know where this girl is," and they're just kind of like, "Oh, you know where she is, huh? You're the kidnapper." So yeah, I mean, he's got to go in. He's got to get things done. Once he has her, the day is saved. So anyway, he does have advantages though. They do not know he is coming. And even though they are, they're alert per se, they're not expecting anybody to come out here after them. They're in the middle of nowhere. They'll hear anybody coming. They heard his Jeep far off, but they heard it stop way out. So they're kind of like, it's another of the locals going back to their homes or whatever. So they are not suspecting anything. So Jordan is allowed to employ his stealth. And I'm actually not going to call for a roll initially. It's only when he gets close or does something that I'm going to be like, okay, they're going to make intuition rolls and his stealth ability will come into play. So anyway, so he's sneaking up. He's sneaking up. Now in this game, normally in these solo plays, you move six spaces and such. In this game, I'm keeping it the equivalent of the Marvel superhero system. It's all relative. So his movement is two, so he can move two and then two more if he does a full move. They're the same. Everybody's only moving two spaces. Nobody's faster than anybody else. So there's that. So anyway, so we're gonna say, he's gonna move up. He's behind this little rock outcropping. He's looking at things, figuring things out. He's kind of trying to figure out like, okay, how do I take these guys out without going in Rambo style? Well, he's gonna have to lure them out. They're gonna have to come out of their own volition. He's afraid to wait too long as well because the girl's been here 2 days. Who knows if they're even feeding her at this point? So yeah, he's got to do something. Now we're going to say that each of these walls has a window. That only makes sense. We're going to say it's probably in the middle here, window here, because I've never seen a shack that doesn't have windows. Now, as far as the bedroom, that may not have a window. We'll go with that. So he can see in through the windows. So he's gonna keep moving around until he can see. Be like, okay, I got this guy. He's there. And he could see the other guy through the window through here, so he knows where some of them are. He's gonna, you know what? He's gonna make his way over to the car, and using his normal items that he has on him. I'm assuming he's got a lighter. I'm assuming he's got a bit of cloth. He's going to put a little time bomb in the gas tank of this vehicle, and then get the heck away. I may or may not know what that's like. So after a few rounds, car goes up. Boom. I'm going to turn it upside down to signify it as a flaming wreck and it's no longer useful. Sorry, car. Don't tell my wife I blew up one of her cars. So, of course, these guys are going to come out like, what the crap is going on the porch? This guy stays inside. This guy comes to the door saying, what's going on? And there's an explosion, blah, blah, blah. Actually, Jordan wouldn't go over here. I think he would, he'd go somewhere where he has a shot. So we're going to say over here. No, we're going to say there's a rock outcropping over here. So dead on. I am going to give him an aim bonus. Hold on one second. Okay, we're going to categorize this as a luring attack, so he would normally get a +2 column shift. However, he's using a bow without the bow skill, so he gets a -1, so he only gets a +1 column shift. He's got a really good agility. His agility is remarkable when he's got his weapons, which he does. Good question there. I'm going to move our little table. I'm also going to commit temporary karma. He's got 49 points for this session, so, he's going to go ahead and commit some temp karma, and we're going to roll. Oh, that's how you start out a game. He rolls a 99. He absolutely just pegs this guy. Now that is a kill result. Look at this guy's endurance. Typical endurance. Does he die outright? Oh, 8. Yes. Oh my goodness. Dead. Corpse. Gone. Bye. Wow, 1 bow shot, 1 kill. God drops. Of course, okay, so that was Jordan's turn. Now he's got a +3 to his initiative. He's usually gonna be, that was the surprise round. Let's roll some initiative here. Jordan's a blue one. So he's got a 5, and they've got a 6, but he's got a bonus to his initiative because of his extremely high intuition. He's got a +3, so he's actually an 8 over their 6. So he definitely goes first. So surprise round, he got to attack. They didn't get to react. He's going to take another shot at this guy. He's going to commit some more karma. So he had to spend 10 for the last one. That's the thing. If you say, I'm committing karma, you're spending at least 10. You're locked into it. So he's down to 39. So we're going to roll, and we're going to commit karma to try to hit this guy. 16. Well, that's wasted karma. Let's see here. A 16 with his remarkable shot. Now, he no longer has a luring attack, so he's got a -1 column shift, so he's actually excellent. So that's white. To get that up to a green where he actually hits the guy, it's going to cost it's going to empty out his karma, so he's not going to do that. So the second one just dunks into the wall next to this guy. The guy ducks back in, shoves this guy out of the way, so get out of the way, I'm getting shot. And we're assuming they have, at the very least, they all have handguns, 9 mils. And we're gonna say the big bad guy has a shotgun, perhaps. We're not gonna get too extravagant with this. These aren't machine gun toting crazies. Now, he is going to get a roll, check his intuition to see if he can spot Jordan. It is going to be reduced by Jordan's stealth rank as well as some situational modifiers. It is a 49, and his intuition is poor, so it would have been a white regardless, so it doesn't matter. So no, as he's ducking back into the cabin, he has no idea where Jordan is except that this way. Now, we go to round 2. Jordan is not going to sit still. He's actually going to jump over to the scrub bush, and he's used his move. He hasn't used his attack. He's going to hold his attack and see what these guys do. Now, this guy's going to be looking out of this window. This guy's going to be looking out of this window. He's not going to see anything, obviously. The boss man's holding. He's wondering what the crap is going on. Why are people getting shot by bows? I'm going to check his poor intuition again. See if he can spot. It's going to be, we got a flaming husk in the way. I mean, he's going to have to roll a red. And he rolls a 19. That is no. No, he has no idea where Jordan is. Confident that he's not spotted, and he doesn't really have a shot. Actually, back up. I'm sorry. This is actually an application of true sight. When he's looking at the dude, I'm going to roll that the flames themselves do not provide a hindrance. to seeing this guy. He can see this guy through the obstructions and such. He's just kind of like, okay, yeah, he's right there. So I will give him a shot. And we're going to roll an 82. I forgot to say whether or not we're committing karma, so we're not. And that is actually, yes, that is that is a yellow result. That is a bullseye. So yeah, I was actually going to say a bullseye or better. So yeah, thunk. Okay, a regular bow does 6 points of damage, a longbow does 10, and a compound bow does 15. I'm going to say because this is a magic bow, it's going to do compound bow level damage. It does full 15 to this guy. He gets bullseyed. And since the only things visible are pretty much from the neck up, I'm actually going to rule that a possible kill result. This guy's going to have to roll his... Oh, he rolls a 99. It does not kill him. Yeah, that is a red. It's absolutely no kill, but he still takes 15 points of damage. He knows he's in a fight. Takes another hit, he's dead. So yeah, thunk. So he doesn't really... You know what? He's gonna fall over into this fireplace area. Now having taken an arrow to whatever, we'll say a shoulder, close, gave him a mortal scare. So Jordan has moved and he's taken his attack. That's it for his round. These guys can't see who to shoot. I'm going to make a psych roll for the bad guys. They have a psyche of poor. This is to check for, 95. Wow. What on earth? These are the most steel-nerved thugs you could ever imagine. I was checking to see if they panic, if they morale fail, and it was a 95. That's absolutely not, though. These guys are hardcore. They're believers. So they know somebody's got them zeroed in. So they're going to hold action until they can figure out where this guy is. Now, Jordan is going to keep moving. Round 3, he's going to full move. These guys, he's going to look out. Of course, he doesn't see anything. This guy's going to look out. Of course, he doesn't see anything. The boss man is getting ready to be like, okay, if it comes down to it, I'll threaten the girl and go from there. A little hostage situation, try to escape. But round 4, Jordan is going to make it pretty much to this husk here. Now, this guy has a chance to spot him. 36. That's no good. No, not good enough. So, yeah, that is a white result. Nope. So, round 5, Jordan moves his 2, and he can totally see this guy in the window, peeking out trying to see stuff. He's not going to commit karma just yet because, well, I've already spent half of it. He's only got to, you know what? No karma spent. 78, not bad. Yeah, that's another bullseye. Hits this guy. Potential kill. Check it endurance. It's a 79. Against typical, right? Yeah, against typical, that is a green. He suffers endurance loss. Oh, thunk. Okay, this is something that doesn't come up a whole lot. All right. Let's see here. The target receiving kill result makes an endurance feat. He did. Rolled a green, which is E/S. The E/S result indicates the character is affected as an endurance loss only if the method of attack was edged in slugfest or shooting, which it is as bow. So that says endurance reduced by 1 rank, character is dying. And will continue to lose endurance at 1 rank per turn until the situation is cleared. So he loses 1 rank immediately. So he drops the poor. Next round he'll drop to feeble, and after that he's dead. So he got hit. This guy who hasn't been hit yet. He got hit. And I'm marking down his endurance. So yeah, he's going to bleed out. Now these guys do not know first aid, so they cannot stabilize him. He's, sorry, Charlie. So we had a move and attack. This guy's going to stumble out of the window a little bit late. This guy rushes to this window. And he's gonna kind of do the spotting, see if he can see Jordan. An '07 says absolutely not. He's distracted by the guy dying next to him and the guy that died in front of him on the porch. Goodness gracious. Okay, so Jordan knows they're in there. So we'll go ahead and go the next round. I forget which round we're at here. But they're not going to stick their head out. I mean, especially not this guy. This guy's dying. I mean, he's probably going to be dead here. So yeah, a new round. Yeah, this is a new round. So the guy's endurance drops to feeble. This is the last round he will be alive. Maybe he'll light up a cigarette and go out smoking. This guy is hit, but he is not dying. So he's got an arrow in him. It's kind of hampering his abilities. We're actually going to give this guy -1 column shift on his rolls because he got an arrow sticking out of him. And we're assuming they're modern arrows. That aluminum crap, man. You know, in the movies, so you're snapping it off. Well, that's a wooden arrow. These ones are aluminum. You can't really do that. It just kind of hangs in there. It's a pain in the butt. So the boss man is kind of like, okay, my dudes, this guy's dead. This guy's pretty much dead. This guy's half dead. But he still has the girl. He still has some bargaining organization. Now, I'm actually going to pause for a second. I'm going to ask the Oracle, hey, Oracle, is there a window in the bedroom? And I'm going to slant it towards no. So we're going to roll it with disadvantage. We have a yes and a no, right? Yes, we have a yes result and a no, but. So we're kind of like, okay, so there's no window, but is there some kind of opening? Is there a hole in the wall, something like that? Roll with disadvantage. Yes, and an extreme no, so no. Okay, so it must be something like a chimney or something like, oh, I know what it could do. Possibly. Okay, so these guys aren't going to come out. Jordan's going to wait, and I'm going to make, now this guy dies in the meantime. He's gone, he bled out. So Jordan's going to make an educated guess. They got to come, their nerves have got to be worked by now. So I'm going to make another psyche feat because he's going to wait, see if he can break them. 77. That's actually no. They're holding strong. Okay, these guys are true believers. So he waits. Nothing happens. They're not making a move. They're making no demand. So he's kind of like, all right, I got to go in. So using this as cover. Actually, you know what? He's going to move. He doesn't want to stay in the same position. So over the rounds, while he was waiting, he's going to move all the way over to this rock outcropping. And he's huddled down there. This guy's still looking out this way, not obviously not seeing anything. And he's going to austral form again and go in there and kind of get a good idea. Be like, okay, so we got this guy huddled down here. We got this guy with a gun to the girl's head right there. Now, it's too bad he can't use his austral form to aim his body and, try to do some Hawkeye level shot through the walls, but that's not, this is not that superhero. Actually, you know what? He's going to come up onto this here. Now, Oracle, are these sturdy walls? I'm going to slant this towards no because it's the shanty. And we have an extreme yes, but we also have a no but. Okay, so we have a no but. Maybe this is fresh construction. Maybe that's what the but is. So this is fresh construction, so it's going to be difficult to smash this stuff. But I'm going to rule, since this is since we had some questionable results from the Oracle, I'm going to rule that he has a shot through here. He can see, and he's going to be like, okay, I could try to take the guy out, but I know he's supernatural. I know he's not a human being. It's disturbing as hell. So he's actually going to take a different shot. He's going to shoot the guy's weapon. He's going to disarm the man. So he'll need a bullseye result, and he's absolutely going to commit some karma. At least 10 points. He's going to try to shoot the shotgun out of this guy's hands, rendering it, not able to be utilized. It was a 54. It's decent. It's decent. And he has his full. Let's see. Well, I'm going to give him a +2 column shift because he's allowed to take his time. He's allowed to aim, but he's also got the -1 column shift for not being proficient. So he's at 54. That is a green. he needs to get it to 66. So he needs to commit 12 points to get it to a yellow. And he does not have enough points to get it to a red. So we're going to have to settle for a bullseye. So he, committing his karma, he bullseyes the weapon, pins it to the wall in such a way that the guy's going to have to take a round at least to pry it free. So he shoots through the cracks in the walls. He pins away the shotgun. He yells at the girl to get down. Okay. So that was a surprise round. New round, he gets initiative. That guy's obviously going to go for his shotgun. But Jordan's going to say the girl gets down. She's not in the way. He's going to commit karma to this one as well. This is his last expenditure. And he's got 19 total points. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. 17 total points left. Oh, he rolls a 21. Lovely. Well, in it to win it. So if he commits 17, that brings it up to a 38. Ah, it's still a miss. He misses the guy. The fates say no. He is out of temp karma. Nothing left. He fires. Arrow gets lodged in the wall. Now, Mr. Hidden Demon's going to make a strength check to try to pull a shotgun out of the wall. Now, he may be a demon inside, but he's a human outside. Well, he rolls a 12, so it don't matter. That thing's stuck in the wall good. The girl, Jordan is yelling at the girl to crawl towards his voice, so she's going to crawl this way. He's preoccupied with getting a shotgun. The remaining guy is going to move his 2 spaces over here and be like, boss, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Boss is in the way of the door, trying to get his shotgun out. So that was his action. That was his action. So new round, Jordan gets to shoot again. Boss man with a 95. That's what I'm talking about. Way to build it up. Yes, even with the penalty, it's a red kill result. All right, Mr. Hidden Demon. Endurance feat of a 21. Yeah, it don't matter. He's dead. He killed the Hidden Demon guy. Thunk. Arrow right to the dome. The guy drops, still trying to struggle to get his shotgun free. Dead. Morale check for the remaining dude. 28. The will finally breaks. He throws down his weapon and surrenders, not knowing where Jordan is, and just kind of like, I'll give up, I'll give up, I'll give up. Man, it sure feels like a payoff when it works out. Oh, I was so tickled Jordan was able to triumph. When I initially thought of the encounter, I had this vision of these degenerates in a shack in the middle of nowhere, holding this girl hostage, not for ransom. The why they're holding her, I'll get to next Sunday. So you'll just have to tune in for that one to find out. But in my mind's eye, I saw the head bad guy and I saw 3 helpers. I had actually asked the Oracle their number in case there were more, and it went completely against me rolling just one dude. So I overrode that, as I already had the minimum number in my head. So I was glad that Jordan was able to go 4v1. So he'll gather the gal up, handcuff the last dude with that arrow in his shoulder, and drive everybody back to civilization. Local authorities will likely have a field day, so Jordan's going to stash his magic gear. You don't just hand over magic items to the local cops unless you want them sitting on an evidence shelf till you're old and gray. However, we'll probably say that due to the circumstances, the bent girl and her father are vouching for him, that it was self-defense, he was acting as a private investigator, and he was fired on first, blah, blah, blah. So there won't need to be a trial. There won't need to be jail time for Jordan per se, but definitely a court date later on, though. So we'll see if anything comes of that down the line. For the meantime, I got plans for this fella next week, next Soloplay Sunday. So we're going to be diving into the realms of magic stuff. So definitely tune in for that. Now, I do hope I've entertained you all, and I thank you one and all that tuned in. I appreciate you. I'm going to pass turn now, so get out there, y'all. Get your own game on. Roll some dice. Gather around the table. Make those memories. While you're at it, watch a cartoon, pop in a good movie, read a comic, drink a little water, get some exercise. And as always, have a good one.